Good evening, welcome to another Beer Reviews. Tonight, we're going to go for a beer that I found in a local supermarket. I was just browsing the aisles up at my local, and they've got a new section of American craft beers on. So, when I was down there, saw this and thought, hey ho, might as well pick it up. So this is Shipyard IPA by the Shipyard Brewing Company. They're from Portland, Maine. And I believe they're actually quite a big microbrewery. I think in the top 15 or top 10 maybe, in terms of size, microbreweries in the US. That they're kind of shared territory with Magic Heart, Flying Dog, Stone, Boston Brewing Company, etc., etc. So they are a pretty big company. But I've yet to try anything by them. Never had anything by them. Barely even heard of them. If I'm totally honest. So always wanted to give them a shot. So I thought, American breweries, their flagships are usually their IPAs, so we'll try their IPA. Interestingly though, I didn't realise until I got home, can you see that this is a single hop IPA, and this is Fuggles. Now, I don't know about the rest of you, but Fuggles usually reminds me of a traditional English best bitter, or something like that, rather than an American style IPA. So, quite interesting that we do have Fuggles in this one. I personally, if you were to get me to write a list of my favourite hops, Fuggles would be very far from the top. Not that I'm going to lay it. Oh, that was a good kiss, wasn't it? Oh, that was actually a twist cap. Look at that. It was actually a twist cap, and I've just popped it off. No wonder it had a weird sound. So I could have been all proper American and gone then, but I didn't. Fuggles isn't one of my favourite hops, but I'm not going to let it get in the way of reviewing a beer. Let's pour it out and see what we have. Alright, well, first impressions, even as it's pouring, is it's very highly carbonated because it was frothing like mad. Lovely deep thick head on it though. It's a good 3 fingers or so. Tiny little bubbles, massive, humongous amounts of carbonation in the glass, and in terms of colour, it strikes me straight off the bat as a very typical IPA colour. So, all's looking good so far. Let's get in there and get a nose, but we've still got a lovely head. Ooh. Now, I'm going to admit it, I have a little bit of a cold, a little bit of a blocked nose, so I can't smell much, but this, I literally can't smell a thing. I don't know if it's just me. I'm getting a very faint smell of Fuggles though. A kind of earthy and grassy spicy notes. But I'm really having, I could probably snort the head on this and still not be able to smell it. That's unusual. I think that's unusual because I was expecting it to be pretty full of aroma, if I'm honest. In typical fashion even, because it's me, I forgot to mention the ABV, which is 5.8, so it's 5.8%. It's a pretty strong IPA. You know, it's up there. It's strong by British standards, so it's strong for Fuggles standards, I guess. Imported by Marston's, in case you were wondering. So yeah, really cannot smell a thing. Tiny bit of earthy notes in it though. Anyway, I've had beers before that haven't had much aroma, been amazing, so let's get in there and give it a try. Cheers. Yeah, you know what? Actually, it doesn't taste of a thing. I hope it's on my palate. I hope I'm not, after drinking beers since we started doing this show, that I've lost my palate, but I can't. Very reserved. There's you know what struck me first off was there's like a lovely carbonation. Really, I do quite like the heavily carbonated beers. I just seem to. That doesn't mean I'm a lager fan. I just like some of the. Sometimes it just adds a little bit to the body. So this has got a lovely carbonation to it. It also has a very strong bitterness. and kind of bitterness goes across all the way across the back of the tongue, and sticks right at the back two corners of the mouth. Considering it's single hopped and it's Fuggles, so I'm guessing it's the English variety of Fuggles, it's a low alpha acid beer, so they've had to have either boiled for a long period of time, popped it right in at the start, just to get the IBUs up, but it's still pretty damn bitter actually. So that's quite interesting. But that's about that's about where I run out of ideas. I can't. It doesn't really taste of anything. I guess at a push, it does have the flavour of a Fuggle hop. There's earthiness to it, but it's so subdued by the bitterness. I guess it's an overpowering bitterness. It's absolutely stormed past any of the subtle English hop variety flavour that's in the beer. There is no malt body to speak of. No, but I can't taste any malts either. This is really confusing me. Really confusing me. I can't. It's like a very highly carbonated and fizzy, slightly earthy. It's quite lager-esque. Like I mean, tasteless lager-esque as well. Stupendously drinkable because of that, and at 5.8%, that'll take you where you want to go after a few. But I can't taste the thing. So if you're going for something full of flavour, I couldn't recommend it. Now it is chilled because it's been in the fridge, and I'm really hoping right now that I've not just ruined it, and if some of the sort of flavours aren't coming through because it's chilled, but it's not hugely cold. It's just, in fact, does it say on it what temperature you should serve it at? No, it's not actually got much in the way of any labelling on at all. They seem to have taken off the blurb on it from the company, so you see that, on the back where it perhaps should be something it's gone now, and you've just kind of got imported by Marston's and a date on the side of it. So yeah, I can't actually taste anything. Unbelievably subtle Fuggles flavour, and that's pretty much it. And as I said before, Fuggles isn't exactly the world's most knockout hop in the. It's not a particularly knockout hop, so I personally would not have chosen it to do a single hopped IPA, and especially considering it's an American brewery. No, I mean, it doesn't matter, does it? I mean, you could be American and make Belgian beers, you can be English and make German beers, it doesn't really matter. But I don't think you do a single hop IPA that you find, I could be wrong, but I think an English brewer probably wouldn't use Fuggles. They'd use something for bittering and then use Fuggles flavouring and aroma, because I don't think Fuggles works. I don't think it works in this context. So in terms of ratings, right, a couple of points for merits at least. I'm liking the mouthfeel, I'm liking the carbonation in it, the colour is wonderful. That's at least a couple of points there. Everything else about the beer, I couldn't. Feels harsh to have to mark it down, but there's nothing to it. It doesn't taste of much. It's just slightly bitter, very subtle. It's just massively disappointing. Let's go for a 2.5. Why not? We'll give it a couple of points because it looks appetising and because it feels good in my mouth. It doesn't taste of anything, it doesn't smell of anything, and that has to constitute the vast majority of the experience of drinking beer. So yeah, please someone tell me I'm wrong. Please, pretty please, because I really want to be wrong, because this is just, it's confusing me. Can you not see this is my confused face and I don't know what to make of it? My world is falling apart because I found a beer that possibly might be worse than macro lagers. So please comment, like, favourite, subscribe. Tell me what you think, especially you fellow brew tubers in England. See if you can't pick this up from a place where there are more reasons to shop, which might help. That's in the advert before anyone thinks I'm crazy. Go pick some up from there. Tell me what you think if you try it, because I can't get my head around it. Until next time then, his beer reviews, and cheers.